Man, it's something else to start off your week like this. The news about Malcolm-Jamal Warner hit hard. I mean, I feel like, to be honest, if you grew up on the Cosby Show, it's almost like you lost a family member right there, man. That was just completely unexpected. 54 years old, accidental drowning, and worst of all, during a family vacation to Costa Rica. Man, I wanted to wait. I wanted to do a video yesterday, July 21st, the day the news broke, but I wanted more information to come out, before I said anything. But I just got to say up front, you know, black talent at its finest. And what I mean by that is one of those celebrities who, as far as I know, unproblematic. I think the only, to be honest, I think the only quote unquote, not even controversial, but the only shocking thing I recall ever hearing about Malcolm was when he did an interview. I can't remember. Was it Sway in the morning? It was something. It was something. But in any case, he was on there doing an interview and he talked about Malcolm and Eddie, just talking about how, hey, on screen chemistry and all was great, but behind the scenes, we really weren't, tight like that. Like, of course, we see each other in public, after the show and everything. It was cool, but it's just that Malcolm went from the school of the Cosby Show in terms of how black families were presented in a way that wasn't really common. But then when you shift over to Malcolm and Eddie, it felt more like, stereotype. So they kind of clash with that because, Eddie Griffin is a pretty, raunchy comedian. But at the same time, that's what made it so shocking to me when that interview came out, because I remember watching Malcolm and Eddie as a kid and, growing up and catching reruns. So, yeah, it just goes to show that despite there are differences on set, they put it aside for that check and it, worked. But like I said, aside from that, never heard a bad thing about him. Uh, just appeared in a number of things. I know in terms of music videos, he was in Any Heartbreak, New Edition, Michael Jackson, Librarian Girl, and I believe he was in 2 episodes of The Fresh Prince. I know he played Hillary's love interest and then went to court with Will because of a fender bender. And then he played himself in this, I think this like One Dream Sequence episode where Will had like a bunch of random celebrity guests show up. So that was pretty cool. And I know he was the voice of like the producer of the Magic School Bus in that cartoon. Dang, he was in a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I'm just looking I'm looking at IMDb right now. Adventures from the Book of Virtues. He was in the episode. If you don't remember that, that's a deep cut PBS cartoon right there. Yeah, he voiced in Static Shock. Dang. Yeah, he was in a lot of stuff. He was in a lot of stuff. And one thing I hate to see is that people, when they bring up the Cosby, no, actually no, I like to see this. It's the fact that after he passed yesterday, people just nonstop sharing Cosby Show, and that to me was just a testament to the show itself. Don't get me wrong. Like I don't know Dr. Cosby, Dr. Bill Cosby personally or nothing like that. He went to court, went to jail, got out. I don't know about that. I don't know about that Bill. I just know the Bill Cosby that I saw on television growing up and in movies and when he did stand up. But the thing about Bill Cosby, he put together the Cosby Show, but it wasn't the Bill Cosby Show. It was the Cosby Show as in, he put it together, but at the same time, he picked talented people for their roles. So the Cosby Show wasn't just Bill Cosby. What made the show so great was every single branch of that tree, which was the Cosby Show, and Theo being the only son. I know somebody put out this great tweet. It's like seeing the journey of him, fighting dyslexia, then going to college, and then ending up, becoming, I believe, like an English teacher or professor. That was some great stuff. It's just one of those things where when you think about the Cosby Show, you think about, the comedic aspects of it, the chemistry between Cliff and Claire, and Vanessa had big fun and things like that. But at the root of it, this show had a lot of great moral lessons that could be, applicable to real life. My favorite Theo Huxtable moment. I know it's too easy, but from like, what was it, the pilot episode where he talks to his dad about, feeling pressure and my grades and this, that, and the third, and you won't accept me for who I am. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That was just great. I think the clip I'm seeing getting the most circulation, it's a toss up between when Theo gets an earring and Cliff is in the room with him trying to like notice the ring, and he's, moving and bobbing his head around. And the scene where he has that shirt, and I think he went to like a party or something and it got torn up. So good stuff. But hey, like I said, it is tragic for him to go out the way he did. And 54 is, well, let's be real, relatively young compared to a lot of people who are passing away, because today is Tuesday the 22nd, and I saw that Ozzy Osbourne, I believe is his name, he passed away. And he was like, what, in his 70s or whatever? So, man. But, oh, yeah, he was in Kenan and Kel, all that. He showed up on those shows as well. And, no, actually, yeah, he directed some of Kenan and Kel and all that. My bad, I'm looking at the wrong one. But, yeah, like I said, just kudos to him. Oh, yeah, he was a Grammy winner, too. I didn't even know that. That's wild stuff. But, man, it's just one of those things where you could tell the man lived a good life because he passed Monday, and there's just been a floodgate of nonstop tributes and people coming forward, telling, stories about him and whatnot. And like I said, I don't think I've ever heard one bad thing about him. So, God rest his soul. And I think a lot of people are doing tributes because he used to date Myra from Family Matters, aka Michelle Thomas, until her unfortunate passing when she was young. And some people said like, he really never recovered from that. But he eventually married and had a daughter. But according to sources, that was kept really private, because I don't think I've ever, even known he was a father or a husband. But yeah, it's just one of those things where life just happens. But yeah, just be safe out there. It's summertime, and pool, beach, wherever. Be careful, because according to the reports, he was swept away by a current while he was swimming out there. And man, it's just unfortunate. It really is. And oh yeah, according to Bill Cosby, he made a statement in regards to comparing the death of Malcolm-Jamal to like that of his son Ennis, because that was his TV song for so long. But with that being said, folks, like they say, make sure you let people know how you feel about them while you can, because you never know when you see or talk to someone, could be the last time you do it. But like I said a few times already, Mr. Warner lived a heck of a life. Definitely left his stamp. Heck of a role model. And like I said, it's sad to see him gone, but it's just great to see all of these positive, tributes and those who spoke highly of him. And that's a good way of knowing you did good while you were down here.